It is now changed, and thank you for letting us know, Ian, eventually.
Okay.
Something that could have been brought to my attention yesterday.
Welcome to Behind the Sins, presented by CinemaSins.
Welcome to Behind the Sins, a weekly look at everything going on inside the world of CinemaSins. I'm Aaron Dicer, and I'm joined this week by fellow Bafflegabbers, Jonathan Watkins.
Hello, hello.
Ian Whittington.
Hello.
And Deneé Hughes. We write for CinemaSins and TV Sins and do various other things inside the CinemaSins universe as well. Everybody doing okay?
Do we think that Deneé listened to the outtakes last week?
Oh, that's a good question. Deneé, did you listen to the outtakes last week?
What is last week?
Cool.
Can somebody define for me how time works?
Yes. We need a horologist in here.
Yes. I didn't ask for a definition on how. Never mind.
Yeah,
Not
don't
going.
do
Nope.
it.
Not going there.
Yeah,
not
Pirates of
going
the Caribbean
there.
made that joke already.
Yep, that's
Guys.
Gone are the days where I could have a really great, amazing message from someone and be like, yeah, let's try that out. I've got an extra couple hours in this slot. There's
Right. Yeah.
no time. I am pressed between glass.
Yeah. It is. Busy time. Busy
And
time.
I think God, I'm a beautiful flower. Pressed between the glass.
Oh my God,
Speaking
Aaron,
of, yes.
derail the show instantly. Do
Yes.
you remember the list that I used to keep of things never to Google?
Yeah. Press the glass was one of them. That was
Press
the first
the glass
one.
was one
I
of
think.
them.
yeah.
Just
Wait,
a reminder.
don't Google press the glass?
Well, I mean, you
Pressed
can if you
to-
want, but it's certainly a kink.
Press.
Oh, and it's evolved because I started that list like a decade ago.
So
You
is
may
this
get some
like-
scenes from the latest Jackass movie too. If you-
Press
Probably.
to glass.
Is
Yeah,
this like,
yeah.
because I remember Sir Mix-a-Lot had a song called Put 'em on the Glass, so I assume that's the kind of stuff you're going to see.
It was crazy. No, I can't remember exactly. It might come to me quickly, but I was looking
weird.
for a photo reference to try to draw something that was pressed to glass,
Yeah.
so I could use it as a reference. And I found things I did not expect, and that was a long time ago.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they let's just say the Jackass guys in the latest movie smashed a certain part of their body in between two panes of glass.
I will never find
and
out.
then played ping pong with them. So
Nope.
yeah.
Nope.
So,
Oh,
Never going to watch a Jackass movie.
nice. No, I get where they're going.
That would be one if we send it. I would be like, no, I'm not doing it. Sorry.
on that note, let's get into this inside scoop.
What's he building in there?
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
This is a true story.
We're going to take a look at the videos from the week, the process of sending them, how we felt about the stuff we are sending in general. Commercial Sins Suburban Auto Group has an ad apparently called Trunk Monkey.
Several.
Am I the only one who'd never heard of
No.
Trunk Monkey? Is this a thing that most people know about?
No.
I've
this-
never
I
heard
mean,
of any of these commercials, though.
I had never heard of them, but this is like a local Oregon car dealership. This is like a car dealership in Oregon.
Yeah.
This was a fan submitted,
Yeah.
and also kind of co-written by the fan as well. So shout out to
interesting.
Derek on this one, because
Nice.
we were talking about commercial sins, and he said, I have the perfect one in mind, and this is what came out of that conversation.
It was
Nice.
great.
Which is one of the crazy things about commercial sins. You can go local, but then of course we're going to have like national ones, and we'll have like regional ones. So you never know. You never know what's going to pop
This
up on
is
the
a
commercial sins.
super professional local commercial, because like when I think local commercials, I think about crap we have here. Like we had this guy for the longest time called Mattress Man, and he literally just had like two mattresses pinned on either side of him, and he was like he sold mattresses.
There you go.
Did
As
he
you
press
do.
something between the mattresses and then play ping pong with them?
Yes,
No, that was
Yes.
a different. That was a
That was-
different.
that's what I
That
think
was
of
their
when I hear
second
local
campaign.
commercials. And
You're not wrong.
This looked like a national commercial.
So this is a commercial about a monkey that stays in your car and helps protect it from being stolen.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, murders people as
Yeah,
well.
murder monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Onto TV sins.
Yeah,
one of
on
my-
TV sins.
Can I just say that before we go on, there's the sin where it's like there's no way I'm driving by a monkey trying to dump a body and not joining them. That really threw me.
Yeah, that was funny. I liked the Josh Groban shout out.
I don't know who that is.
That was very fun.
You don't know who Josh Groban is, huh?
Deneé, please tell me who Josh Groban is.
He's a singer.
She's right.
Okay.
Some people
Genre?
might say he's really
Without
talented.
Googling?
Some people might be me. I'm kidding.
You don't know who Josh Groban
No, I
is?
don't know who
Oh,
Josh
okay. Oh, I
Groban-
thought you were
No,
kidding.
I'm
I thought it was
not-
a
I'm
bit.
not doing a
I was
bit,
waiting for the. I was waiting for the punchline.
That'd
I'm
be
sorry.
a
I
weird
apologize.
bit. Like I'm gonna pretend I don't know who
I'm
Josh
just ignorant.
Groban is.
I don't know. You never know with Ian. You never know.
You never know if he's ignorant or stupid.
He has a very like his voice is like one of the timeless
It
voices.
really
maybe.
is.
It's kind of like an operatic kind
Okay.
of.
But he
it's
had
like
a very narrow like radio play era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was
he's
like
still
pop-
very popular and has fame.
Yeah, it was like pop opera, like pop rock.
Yes.
Would
you
I
know?
know any of his songs? This really
You Raise
doesn't
Me
matter.
Up. He brought
Yeah.
that one.
You raise me up.
Wait, was he wasn't.
So I could fly
Wow,
with
guys, Josh Groban's in the
eagles.
studio.
Wow.
You
Wow.
Josh, huge
raise
fan.
me up.
We
Mention
love
his
you
name,
so much. We send you in a commercial.
Mention his name 7 times and he shall appear.
He shall appear. What about Ian? What about you? Anything else you wanted to mention on this one?
I love the video game stint of customizing the loadout of the Chunk Monkey. So it's not just a baton.
Right,
it could
yeah.
be with like a taser or just, you can customize it, which is something, if it was an actual Chunk Monkey, would happen.
Yeah.
And oddly is seen in Rick and Morty this week with him picking different loadout options with different weapons.
Yes.
Strange
Yeah.
crossover this
Instant
week.
correlation.
Jonathan, what about you?
Well, I wrote on this one a little bit, so
Yeah, you did.
I really enjoyed working on the confusion of what like that nobody. I like doing sins where we make an emphatic like statement, like no one knows what the Department of Agriculture does.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I find those very fun. I did another one recently about something else, right? It's just like you go like very emphatically. You're like, no one knows what this is, and those are always fun. Also, just the guy like sitting on the glass, like that's not talk about pressing on glass. That denim would be cut to shreds.
Yep.
But it's a funny
It sure would
commercial,
be.
man. I've watched a few of the other ones too. They're pretty clever. I don't know how it advertises their dealership, but I guess it gets people thinking about them. I don't know. How do
we're
ads
talking
work,
about it.
guys?
That's the idea.
Commercials, how do they work?
How do they work?
All right, let's move into TV sins. Speaking of Rick and Morty, we'll start there. The Rickshank Redemption. Jonathan and I writing on this one, a Dicer Watkins script. Jonathan, why don't you continue on? What are some of your thoughts about Rick and Morty? I think this is a season premiere of season 3, I think is what this one
Season
is.
2, right? Is it season 3?
No, it's season 3.
Okay, I get confused. You are correct. Yeah, so I know I had seen this one, but when we sent it, I didn't remember it, other than, of course, it immediately started from the cliffhanger. Or
Right.
not immediately started, but it was an episode that was based on the cliffhanger from the previous season where Rick got put
Basically
in
trying
prison.
to work themselves out of the cliffhanger of the previous season.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
As they do. Yeah.
It was like most Rick and Morty. It was a pleasure to work on. These are always fun to mess around with and play around with our stuff because that's what they're doing. I really hope that non-sports or non-baseball fans looked up the Jose Canseco thing because
It's hilarious.
it's unreal how funny that is.
Yeah.
It is for sure one of the funniest things. I unfortunately was not watching that game live, but I have seen that clip. I don't know how many times. And then I also remember we had a bunch of stuff we had a bunch of variations on sins with Jerry folding himself. I remember there was a lot going on, a lot to unpack in that whole scene.
Unpack.
So we kind of did I think it was kind of a combination or something, or we just added stuff to one. And then I also wanted to know, did you actually burp? Because I remember in the notes I said, you don't have to actually burp. We can put one in. But it sounded like you did.
Here
I
comes
did.
the
I did.
Aaron's hidden talent.
I don't wanna
portion.
ruin the
It's not
magic.
hidden talent. Many people can do this. Yeah, what's crazy
Yeah, I
to
didn't know
me
you
is
could.
Ian literally. Can I share this, Ian?
Please
Can I share this? Can I share this?
Share my bodily inequities. Please do.
Oh,
Do you guys?
Ian?
What is
It's-
happening?
No. Do you
No,
guys
no.
know this? Do you guys know this? Ian has never burped
Never burped.
in his life.
No, I didn't
Has
know that, but I
never
have
burped.
heard this. Like, this is very possible.
Never burped. It is not a bodily function that
So
I have.
when
in
he
my
has air that needs to
reservoir.
escape his throat, he
farts.
no, that's disgusting. But
Is it? It's just body function, Aaron. It's not disgusting. It's
Thank
beautiful.
you. Part of my body. It's the only thing I can do. It's the
no.
one thing I can own, Aaron.
you hiccup. This blows my mind because I've seen you do like these big hiccups,
Yeah,
and I'm
I
like,
hiccup a
wow,
lot.
you have a hiccuping problem. No, that's your burp. Your burp is a hiccup.
I've often wondered if I would ever be body shamed in this way. I didn't think it would come from Aaron Dyson.
No, I envy you.
It has.
No shame. I'm not
didn't
throwing
think about
shame.
it.
I'm
I
throwing
get
amazement.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
I get
You have a
insane
hiccup
hiccups if I
problem,
laugh too much.
I do wonder.
I thought he did, but now I know he doesn't. This is amazing.
It's just me. I do wonder if I can morph the hiccups into a burp. If it's just like
Maybe.
a premature one. If I really try, I go.
But Aaron, you can make
What a
yourself
burp
burp.
sounds like.
I can burp. I can make myself burp, and yes, that was
Do
an
it.
actual burp. In the I had.
If you do it, let me like pop out for a second.
Have
Ready?
we not done this on the show? I
Just-
feel like
I'll-
we've done this.
No,
I'll,
we don't
I'll
have.
give
I
you
don't
like
like
10
it.
seconds.
I believe
Okay.
you.
Danae will take off her headphones.
Do you know what I just did?
You're in the room, Ian.
I'm in the room.
You're in the room with
I
me.
took my headphones
All right, so
off.
this is what I do. I just suck air in.
Wow.
Like that. So, yeah.
I turn around and you're like just having a conversation, and then I put the headphones right next to my ear, and you open your mouth, and wind comes out. I saw your lips move. There was so much wind on that burp. You motherfucker! God.
When I wrote that send, I had no way to know he could do that. So I put a note saying we can just, the editors can find a burp
Yeah.
to put in.
Yeah.
That timing was
Just
incredible.
like I assume you were really peeing like a couple weeks ago or whatever.
Well, I have news for you on that one too. I can also pee on command.
The bucket is still in the corner.
That's right. That's right.
Oh my
So
God.
yes, that was an actual burp.
On to CinemaSins.
Yeah. You definitely
No.
burped. You definitely burped. I remember you guys doing this one and thinking, this is going to come up on BTS. I don't want to be part of the conversation.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun with the Szechuan stuff in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's kind of what this episode is known for. So I feel like we, some of the behind the scenes of what we do. Lots of times we will make sure that we send things that are memorable for movies and episodes.
Yeah.
Like we'll find ways to tell a joke about it or find a sin in it or whatever. Because part of what we do is, show you the things you remember from these things. And the most memorable part of this episode for most people is how the Szechuan sauce thing blew up. McDonald's eventually brought it back because of Rick and Morty. There was this whole run on McDonald's kind of thing, and they ran out and all that stuff. So we tried to figure out a way to put that in there.
They apparently brought it back again. I looked into it, and I think you can only get it if you order on the app. Like they're kind of making that part of the app special thing. But yeah.
And then also wanted to mention that Nathan Fillion's Rick Sanchez impersonation is
It's a joy.
astonishing. I love it so much. In that this episode needs to exist if for no other reason than
Heck
for
yeah.
that. Ian, what about you? Any thoughts on this one?
I remember this episode because of the Szechuan stuff. I really, really, really can't remember this episode at all. And usually you can follow along with the Sins video, but this one goes
Right.
so wackadoodle and so up and down. It's really tricky to follow. But no, I was just going to ask you guys how much time you thought about spending on the Szechuan stuff and whether there was a temptation to just gloss over it and pretend it never happened in Rick and Morty style.
No, I think you have to acknowledge it, and do something about it.
But I was disturbed at like how much that made me want to eat it. Like, because that guy's like the alien's like just shoving it in, and for some reason I'm like, I could go for some nuggets and some Szechuan sauce right now.
I'm going to do it. I wanted to give a quick shout out to the description from the episode this week because I just liked it. I was like, damn this video for making me work out how to spell Szechuan, screw it. It's great.
Yeah. It is an interesting word to spell.
Yes.
That description was just real life happening.
Yeah.
So
Szechuan.
yeah, exactly. Deneé, what about you? Any thoughts on this one?
What is Szechuan sauce?
It's a type of dipping sauce.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's an Asian-based dipping sauce.
It's like a hoisin sauce.
yeah, like a hoisin. Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
It's stickier.
Those are my thoughts.
Nice.
Poison.
All right, let's
and
move
hoisin
into Stranger Things. That's right. We're going back to Stranger Things. Season 1. We'll pick up on episode 3 because we've already done episodes 1 and 2. This is in anticipation of a new season finally coming out here in about a month. This episode was called Holly Jolly, and it was a Cardoso-Watkins script. So Daniel and Jonathan writing on this one. Jonathan, what's it feel like to write on every single thing?
It's fun. Yeah, there's one thing I didn't write on this.
That's
I
true.
couldn't.
We'll get
I
there.
couldn't quite do the fiver as we call it. We've never called it that before. No, this was interesting. I had not watched Stranger Things in a pretty good while because obviously the fourth season. It's been a while since the third season ended. I did not have to go back and watch the first 2 episodes, but I did go back and watch the first 2 videos, which I'm glad we did because then we were able to. I knew we had some recurring stuff like the Duffer Brothers name, so we got to still play around with that, and Matthew Modine's hair, and just fun stuff like that. So that was kind of more the thing I had to make sure I got. I wanted it to feel like it continued off the first 2 videos. And sometimes that's hard because it's been a while since we've done this. The first one
I did
was
the same thing, and it was a lot of fun.
The first one was our second video, I think,
That's
right?
crazy. That's
It
so
was
early.
second video we ever did.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then the second one
that's
was
crazy.
maybe a year after that or something. So it's been it's been a while. It might have been around when the third season premiered. Maybe that's when we did the second video. That would make sense. But I will say the sin about the kids screaming back at their parents, that came from a very personal place.
It's very real.
Yeah, when you're calling up to your daughter or son, doesn't always have to be daughters. In my case, it is. Just saying, "Hey, are you ready?" And then you get screamed at about something, like "I'm brushing my hair," and you're just like, "Holy crap!"
There are fewer decibels that you could have used to communicate that.
Exactly. And then Daniel's the one who noticed this, but like the way Matthew Modine is standing, like. And he's like so close to whatever the thing is that like equipment.
Dominating
It's
it.
like, I mean, it's crazy. He's got his hands like on his thighs and he's just like right here, like right up against it. And then also Daniel mentioned the casserole thing. The casserole thing always kills me. I might have even written something too, but we went with Daniel's. But it's just like, I've lost family and like I've had close family die and no one's ever brought a casserole to us. So I just always think that's an interesting, maybe that was an 80s thing. I don't know, but I always think that's an interesting like cliche that I've never seen happen in real life, but I'm sure it does.
Casseroles were the thing in the 80s.
That's true. That's true.
Casseroles, like casserole dishes. We had casseroles every night for dinner. We would take casseroles to potlucks. We would take casseroles to, neighbors who just moved in. Like casseroles were the thing. Man.
This might be revisited in Nitpickers before we go
All
any
right,
deeper.
fair enough. Appreciate the heads up. Deneé, why don't you go next? Some thoughts on Stranger Things.
I had the same kind of experience where when we're picking this one back up to kind of revisit the series, having spent so much time away from the other videos, it was really cool to go back because I feel like the vibe of the channel, there's a lot that's still really similar. And I was wondering if a lot had changed, but to me, there really wasn't much. But it was really interesting because when we were writing 3 and then, continuing to kind of poke into the series a bit, hearing Jonathan and Aaron talk back and forth on our work channels and stuff about their ideas for if they were to do them all, like the running themes and things. So those become, I think, for our team more and more important when we release these season recaps. And it's been mentioned before, but I think it's a really neat way of thinking about how we're setting the content in more like the seasonal instead of just episodic, because we might revisit a pilot at some point and we started something that just goes completely in a new direction because we have a different perspective on how we put our content together. Stranger Things as a whole, though, I watched this when it came out with everybody else. So when it released, I watched every episode and was thrilled by it and engaged by it and creeped out by it. And then immediately stopped watching it when I didn't watch any of the season 2 or 3.
So strange, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's kind of how I am, I think. Sometimes I'm just ready to be like, that's all I need to know about the story. There's still lingering things, but
It's a really strange thing to do, Deneé. It's very strange.
Is it a stranger thing?
It's a stranger thing to do, yeah.
No, very different. I think the other thing about this show for me is that, like, I know I wasn't allowed to watch X-Files. It was right kind of in that phase where I probably could have because I was old enough to consume what I wanted, but because it just wasn't on, I didn't really get into that. So any like the thriller, I don't even know if the thriller is the right word. But like monster, sci-fi, kind of horror-ish vibe is
Man, I
not
would
something that I
love
used
if your
to
rebellious
consuming.
phase was just watching X-Files.
Right?
That's what you went through as a teenager was, yeah, I watched the X-Files.
There was always this thing like where even I
Screw
guess
the man.
myself, I would get to this point where I'm like, I just don't know that I want to see it. I think, sheltered growing up from seeing, dangerous things or gory things like that. But I remember like passing the TV and there was a black and white movie on. We were having to stay at a hotel. I think I was like 6 because our house had just had a smoke fire. So we were staying at a hotel and my brother and I were in one room. My mom and dad were in the adjacent at this hotel. And it was a sci-fi movie where the alien took off someone's face. And it's one of those things I'll never forget. And it was just so, so scary. So that sci-fi-esque horror genre, whenever I start to feel that vibe and content, I'm like, oh no, what am I going to see right now? And Stranger Things hit that same vibe. So there was something really creepy about it that like just jolted me. And it's that Demogorgon open face thing. And,
man.
that they're
Heck
just
yeah.
like, they're doing some stuff with like slime and goo and people being like, like Barb not making it. Just what is happening right now? Then you got like the
Barb doesn't make it?
then you have like the 11 mystery of like this superpower, which puts you into this alternate reality, even at a new level. I'd never experienced anything like that. And it was really fun to do so as an adult. So Stranger Things is special to me, but I'm really enjoying this one. I will say, since working at CinemaSins, I have a reference point. So when I watched this back, there was a sin where it's like the juxtaposition of 2 young kids, having sex or getting like intimate. And then over here, there's this horror scape going on. And because of my job, I had a Jennifer's Body flashback.
Right.
I was like, oh my God, I've seen that. Where have I seen that before? And that
happens.
popped out. And I didn't realize it was a thing, but it's a thing.
It is a thing.
Yeah. I also wanted to say thanks to whoever sent the shoes on the table. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I felt heard.
Ian?
I had the same experience with this show. It's so strange. I watched all of season 1, loved the what's-its off of it, and I just haven't watched it since. It's so strange. There's something, I don't know if it's the space between seasons or the fact that I kind of knew I would have to rewatch season 1 to get back into season 2, and I didn't have time at the time to do that. So it's so strange, but I didn't envy you guys having to jump back into this after so much time. It's not like we're sinning the most recent season. We're going all the way back to the beginning and trying to do the research on the previous Sins videos to find those running threads and to kind of, if and when we put it together as a season-long video, how is that going to gel being 4 or 5 years apart from each other, which is, that's got to be a tricky thing to tackle.
Yeah. You guys pretty much mentioned everything I wanted to say. I have watched every episode. I've watched all 3 seasons, right? We're coming up on the 4th season. It's still a fun show to watch. I genuinely think they have captured something really fun with this cast. They're growing up too fast, honestly, because of the time between seasons. But, that's not something you can help. The video itself, the idea that microfiche is imaginary, I thought
I think that's spot on.
Absolutely
They have
hilarious.
to be. Never seen one.
Absolutely hilarious.
I just want to point out I had a microfiche machine and microfiche in my garage for 4 years.
They're definitely not fake.
And some
But it was
people, there's just people that lie about having owned one, let alone having just seen one.
It's called catfishing.
Yeah.
Is what it's called,
Yeah.
actually. All right, let's move into CinemaSins. We'll kick it off with Matrix Resurrections, quickly becoming the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull of the Matrix
isn't it?
universe.
People love
Yeah.
this too, though.
There are people who do love this.
Oh, my God.
This was myself and Jeremy writing on this one, a Dicer Scott script. It was interesting because when we combined our scripts together, there was so much overlap because the things this movie does poorly are so obvious and so clear. Like, we have 2 different running gags about how this movie likes it to, claim its own stuff, right? Like, the one that Jeremy's running gag that he wrote was, "Do you get it? Do you get it?" And my running gag was the whole thing where and now that we've done this, we'll move on to the next new thing, right? And so, like, now that the third scene has done this,
that was a nice bit of nostalgia. Let's move on to
let's
something
move on to
new.
the next. So we both had these running gags, and we talked about, well, do we keep both of these? And we're like, yes, the movie is so terrible at this, we should just pound it into the ground. So, so we kept all that stuff in. I don't know. I still can't decide how intentional this stuff is, nor if it even matters. I don't think it even matters if it's intentional or not. But watching it a second time, I will tell you, it is so crystal clear that this is the point of the movie.
Yes.
That I'm really leaning on the fact that it is intentionally bad. And I don't like that. That's super annoying. Because you can make the same point and still make a good movie.
Yeah.
You know?
It takes all of the pressure away, doesn't it? It's like, it really doesn't matter what kind of a movie we make because we want it to be rubbish.
Yeah, yeah. Anyhow, what an interesting experiment this movie was. Jonathan, why don't you go first with some of your thoughts on?
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't like this movie at all. I remember editing though the you guys on Recotopia talking about the you with Aaron and Jeremy. I mean Aaron, Chris, and Jeremy talking about the films in 2021, and maybe Jeremy said it was the worst movie. Of course, I don't know how many he saw, but I was like, I don't think it's the worst movie of 2021. But it's it's not good.
Yeah.
I definitely was, but I wasn't big. I don't really care for either of the sequels that had already been released. I think they're probably both better than this. I haven't seen them in a while. I'm not as huge of a original fan even as a lot of people on the CinemaSins staff are. I know Jeremy, it's his favorite movie of all time. I think Aaron's got
number one.
Aaron's got it pretty high as well, I think.
In the top 10, yeah.
But it's a very cool movie. It did a lot for the industry as far as like just computer effects and action and fight choreography and stuff like that. Some would call that a detriment at times, but I think a lot of what it did was really interesting. And here, it's like it's so bad. Like that's one thing that kills me about this is the action is just so it's not engaging at all. There's nothing about it that is interesting or fun. And like you said, even if she intended that. I don't remember which of the Wachowski sisters directed this, but even if she intended...
Lana.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Lana. Even if Lana intended that, there's a better way to do it, I guess, because it's just... I don't know. It just wasn't good. It wasn't a pleasant experience watching.
Well, it really appears to me as if it really is an FU to Warner Brothers from Lana. That it really, like, the more you watch it, it really is just her going like, I'm going to destroy this franchise because you want to make me make more of them. Like, it's so weird.
Well, and what's even weirder is I very seriously doubt this will be the last Matrix thing. I mean, it might be 20 years from now, but like this will not be. I have a feeling this will not be it.
Yeah.
Anyways, but whether that's good or bad. As far as the sin, I didn't understand the sin about the movie playing in theater 1. I get the sense it should be an 8. Was that Sense 8?
That's a Sense8 reference. Okay. The actor on there is a Sense8 actor.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Okay, I was just curious about that one. I love how all of the movies you could have named, the narrator said presumed innocent and Apollo 13.
There was a lot of that this week, like Finding Nemo's Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, exactly.
It was so great.
Presumed Innocent is legit one of my favorite movies, so I was very happy that it was mentioned, but it's just not a movie that gets mentioned that often, you know? The Wasted Christina Ricci sin was awesome because we also did that in the Yellow Jackets pilot.
Yes. She just had a year of I'm going to turn up and not be like used in the first episode of things.
And then the last one I'll say, I don't want to take away everything, but I just love that. Stop asking if you can ask something. Like that felt super personal.
Yeah.
Whoever
I always say when somebody says, "Can I ask you something?" I always say, "You just did."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to ask something else?
Yeah.
It is a strange thing. It's more like,
video.
do you have time for me to ask you a question? Is different. Like,
right.
Can I ask you a question? Yes.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question after I've asked you this question that I didn't ask permission for?
Yes, exactly.
Or can I ask you a question the topic of, bro? And then you have a chance to be like,
but then it's like you have time. Then you can say, well, I did. Now I don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was your one question.
That was your. You got one. Sorry, you just got the one.
Wow.
Deneé, any thoughts on Matrix Resurrections?
I had no point of reference for this. I didn't even pay attention when it came out, so I had no idea about how it was received or anything like that. So this is an interesting conversation to listen to. But watching the Sins video was very, very confusing. So about halfway through, I was just like, I don't understand what's happening anymore.
Yeah.
And I stopped it.
I'd say halfway through watching the movie, pretty much feel the same way. So there you go.
So Ian was over working from this office when I was reviewing this. And I kind of like, I paused it and I said, I don't even know what's happening. And he was like, that's how we all felt when we watched, like, that's how we felt when we watched it.
Yeah.
And then he described, how did you describe this movie? I think it was something like, this movie is trying to pull themselves apart so much they forgot to make a movie or something.
If they're making a deliberately bad movie, that's one thing. But if they were trying to make a good movie, it's so busy trying to be self-referential and meta, it forgot to make a movie worth watching. Yeah. It's one of the two things. And I don't know which is more sinful.
It's so, I'm telling you, I go back and forth on it because it's so weird, right? Like if Lana's desire is to go, okay, fine, I'll make your movie. Here's your movie. I'm going to make fun. I'm going to completely make fun of the reasons you're having me make this movie. I'm going to make fun of you. I'm going to make fun of, like, and
people are going to hate it.
And people are going to hate it. Like, that's the part that's like,
Could be sneaky genius.
I don't know. It's still a bad movie, though.
There's been a ton of great stuff written about it, by the way. I've enjoyed reading people's takes on it, for sure.
Yeah. I think, like, the franchise in general, I really enjoyed thinking about, like, the storyline of humans being batteries and things like that. So I think because I enjoy the content and, like, where it started, I thought it was a really interesting idea and something that I could dig into and like, conceptualize and see even happening someday, like, in that interesting way. As the franchises continue to put stuff out, I tend to want less and less, kind of with the Stranger Things. Like, I like where I am right now. If I get out now, I'm not gonna, be disappointed with where someone else takes the story. It kind of gets to end for me where I want it to end. So it's very selfish. But I did enjoy the sins. There was one about the therapist's room, and the sin is about how anybody could concentrate with the ego stroking that's happening in the decor. Yeah. I found that one really kind of fun because those rooms are so opulent. And to think that, like, whenever I've been inside of a therapist's office, it's very bland.
They don't want you to be distracted, right?
Right?
Yeah. Like, they have a desk usually, and then there's, like, a little sitting area, but it's not, like, a peek into their psyche and how they would, Yeah, so that was something really interesting. There was a sin about taking pills without water, and they called the character a monster. I took issue with that because that's how I take my pills. So
monster.
I don't need water.
Next thing you're going to tell me is you don't burp, you hiccup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Monsters United.
I did laugh quite a bit at the kung fu joke too. Nemo says, "I'm done fighting," and then, like, the narrator just comes at him like, "The hell you're done fighting? You kung fu, like, get in there and do it.
Right.
Do what we want to see." So that was fun. There was also a scene where the narrator fell asleep partway through, and those are always exciting, like when he cuts himself off. I tend to find, like, when those happen, I'm wanting more and more for us to develop this part of our videos where we really put those on their own subtitle moment, because I always read ahead, so I know what the narrator's about to do.
Yeah.
And there is something really fun about just experiencing someone's delivery without reading ahead.
That's how we've done it before.
So,
we've put the Z's on a separate subtitle
I
page
kind of want to do
before.
that even more. Like, there are some where when we
Save the
hear
joke.
that, when we hear that he's got something creative that he's doing, just to kind of put it in its own little space, I think would be kind of fun. But
I totally agree.
That popped into my mind at one point in time. I did have a quick question before going on. I don't want to spend any time, like, understanding this movie. So if it's too big of a question, just skip it. But when Neo was taking pills or dumping pills or something, there was a mirror beside him and he looked much older.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that intentional?
So the moment where we talk about them not knowing it was him because they put a character skin on him, that's his character skin. That's who we're seeing.
That's how they disguised him.
That's how they disguised him in the Matrix. So people who see that character in the Matrix see that. And Trinity has one too. You see Trinity's reflection in the table as a different person too.
Okay, thank you. I just curious about that.
Totally. Ian.
It's most of the thoughts, but I think you guys did a great job of hitting on the mental health. Like, this is where I butt against the fact that she was trying to make a bad movie, because why would you deliberately have such a, like, poor stance on mental health and therapy and suicide?
Let's address this shortly. Somebody in the comments addressed this, and I think I'm going to take their kind of angle on this because I think it's something worth thinking. As a trans person, her experience with therapists may be very different growing up when she grew up than a more healthy view of mental health and therapy. She may have had therapists who were trying to help her fix something that she didn't feel like she had to fix, right?
Therapy lines.
So Right, exactly. And so for her, you may be seeing for her a look at therapy that is different from ours. I thought that was a nice way, at least, to have some empathy for
that's an interesting
kind of what she's doing here.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
But it doesn't negate that it's damaging to things that can be positive for
As a
other
whole.
people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I just think it was interesting that you guys, when the angles that you hit the video from were really interesting, and that's probably the way that I would have hit it as well. It's good video.
Yeah, the interesting part about that one section where we mentioned a couple times the suicide thing, that suicide is seen as attempting suicide is seen as a way to positively escape your reality. There was also the idea of them using human projectiles at the end that was so triggering that we literally, like, we blurred it at first. This is a nice little behind the scenes thing. Like in the first edit, it was just blurred, but you still knew what was going on. Yeah. And so just throughout the idea of can we just put up the Catrix poster there while it's going on as just a way to say, we're not even going to, show it because it's so triggering.
Bad.
All right, let's move into draft day. This was an Atkinson-Watkins script. Chris and Jonathan writing on this one. Man, I forgot this movie existed. So, Jonathan, what are some of your thoughts?
My thoughts on draft day. I had never seen this. This was my first time watching. I quite enjoyed it. It's definitely not. It's not something I don't know that I've ever seen a movie set on draft day before, but it definitely hits a lot of the same notes that a lot of like drama comedies like these do. I don't know. I guess it's more just straight up drama. I hadn't watched Costner in a while, I don't think, in much of anything. It was really nice just seeing like a good Costner performance, because I forget sometimes like how engaging of an actor he can be.
He is so charismatic.
Yeah, he
that
really
man
is. He
just
really is.
Pure charisma. Yeah.
And I guess there's kind of that period around this time where he was doing stuff like Swing Vote, and I haven't seen like almost all those movies, but I'm sure they're all, as entertaining as this one. It's also a ridiculous movie though. As a person who follows the NFL and reads the off-season stuff, and especially with my team that I follow and stuff like that, and just seeing how trades go about and stuff, the stuff involving the trades that he makes in this movie is insane. Like the way he gets all these picks, and after making not necessarily making a huge mistake, but doing something he realizes he didn't want to do, and then he somehow corrects that in a matter of like 10 minutes, is pretty silly. Also, and I think we brought this up in the video, I think this stayed in, where I think Chris brought this up, there would probably also be some investigations on collusion, because the Browns and the Seahawks do something that has just never happened, where they make a trade earlier in the day, and then that person who was supposed to be pick number 1 falls like 4 or 5 spots, and then they make the trade again, so then the Seahawks still get them, but at a better price, I guess. Like that player would be at least getting someone involved in launching an investigation to, like, they purposely had him drop, to get a smaller paycheck or whatever. So that aspect of it was easy to sin, I would say. But it's a really charming movie. Like, it's really funny. It's got a lot of good actors in it. Jennifer Garner's great. She actually has some interesting things to do, and so she's fun to watch. I think her and Costner actually have some chemistry. And so, yeah, I liked it. But, it was definitely pretty easy to send with all that stuff. The other thing I'll mention, though, both Chris and I both caught Tom Welling plays, like, the team's veteran quarterback. And he, of course, played Superman on Smallville. And then you had Kevin Costner, who played Pa Kent in Man of Steel. So that was really fun, like, coming up with sends with them talking to each other and referencing, like, their the Superman stuff like that's always fun. So, yeah.
Yeah. Ian, why don't you go next?
Oh man, was I lost in this video? I mean, congratulations to Chris and Jonathan. You made a great video, I assume. Sports. No, even if I was American, this would not be the one for me. It might be an experience that I never have writing for CinemaSins, is because this was an extremely analytical video, and I was in awe of the maths and the acrobatics that you guys did to say, well, this isn't how the 1st and 7th slot happens, and he has more options throughout the year, and he can do things, and this deal isn't the thing you mean. And I would love to be able to get into the weeds of the technicalities behind that. I imagine it's like me debating like sinning Star Trek and debating like, well, no, this treaty with the Romulans didn't mean this, it meant this. And using that kind of inside baseball, that's a reference.
That's a reference.
Inside baseball knowledge to apply that to a Sins video. I can tell that you guys just dug into this and had such an awesome time. And the fact is, I enjoyed the video, even though I have no idea what sport they're playing. Still, but I still had a great time watching the video.
The answer would be American football.
Yeah, Ian's like, what is he talking about throwing 15 yards? Like, what is...
I just don't know. There were some bits I just didn't get. I was like,
no, it's fine. I understand.
So the Smallville guy can now... He's been playing baseball for a long time. I don't know that I need an answer to this, but he's been playing baseball for a long... Sorry. He's been playing football for a long time, and he can now suddenly throw faster and further, but nobody noticed. And other than watching him bench...
Yeah, I guess from what I understand, the way the movie takes it, he got hurt, I guess, the previous year. And so through his new conditioning or whatever, he just built up some muscle. Although I don't know how much muscle has to do with I didn't play football, so I don't know a lot of the specifics. But somehow he was able to increase his speed. And also medical stuff, even that long, which was, what was this, like 2012, I think is what we said. I can't remember, but even then,
14, I think it's set.
I mean, they do have ways to like condition you, like especially like I know in baseball, like I have a nephew who's going through this in high school, and there's ways that they can give him, like make his fastball faster, make his curve dip a certain way, and there's all this crazy conditioning that they didn't even have when I was younger playing sports. So I guess there's some way they are able to use his conditioning to help him throw farther, I guess is the idea. I don't know how much I believe that would be possible, but
you got to be careful when you can make someone's curve dip a certain way. Like it's definitely something you need to pay attention to.
Aaron, your thoughts?
My thoughts on Draft Day are this: I like this movie. I think it's really funny. It's just kind of one of those movies that just exists, and you're just like, oh, this is a fun little story to jump into. I like these people. I like I like how intensely actually NFL it is, which is interesting because I'm not a fan of the NFL. Mainly because the team that I used to root for has never done good ever in the history of the modern game.
This should have took place in Detroit,
right? I think they even mentioned that in the video. But those sins are so legit, like pretending that Houston doesn't exist, that there would never be a football team in Jacksonville. Is really funny to me. Just laughing about Dallas always winning. Just the laughter on that. Just really funny stuff. The other one, I had to mention the Dick Moore joke. That the sin is, after that name is mentioned, this is exactly what my college girlfriend would say to me when we played our game of caveman sex. Is so like
we both had something. I don't remember whose that was, but that was awesome.
We have these running gags that we do, these running jokes that we do, and I just love that we intentionally try to twist them a little bit, make something funny within it, like it's just so I did appreciate the turn on that one. I also wanted to mention, Jonathan, and maybe you can share a little bit about this, the actor that played the Rick character has been tweeting today about the CinemaSins video, and I know you had seen that, Jonathan. So
it's the guy we called Discount Justin Timberlake, and then he.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
And then he put out a tweet saying, "I don't know if this is supposed to be offensive," which it's not, by the way, if anybody's listening. But he said, "But I don't care," or something like that.
Yeah, so he said insult. He said, "I don't know if this is supposed to be an insult, but I'll take it," or something like that.
Yeah, and then he even had a further thing that he showed a few other scenes with him in it where we sent some stuff. He's like, "I think they like my performance," so and we did.
Yeah,
so
that's always funny. Great when we get like the side characters watching the video.
Yeah, for sure. Stuff. We had the guy from Halloween. The 2018 Halloween, the guy that was dressed up as a doctor, we had a sin about him and his stethoscope, and he got on Twitter and said a bunch of stuff. And maybe you heard Jamie Lee Curtis said she loves CinemaSins. Maybe you heard that.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Insult me all you want.
And Deneé, for your thoughts on Draft Day, just yell sports.
Sports!
There you go. Very nicely done.
Nice.
So.
Can't even get it out. All right, let's move into the comment section.
I appreciate your honesty. You're a real straight shooter.
You are the ones who are the ball lickers.
We'll each pick a comment from last week's content in the various places that you reach out, Discord, YouTube, Reddit, etc. Who wants to go first? Deneé, we haven't heard from you in a bit. What's your comment this week?
Deneé.
I can't remember what video this is from. You guys might know it. Chup, a couple of days ago at this point, said, I think everyone that is a fan of CinemaSins burst out laughing when they saw him pick up the apple at this point because we knew what CinemaSins would say. Was that Matrix? Okay.
Yeah.
I stopped watching before this point, obviously.
Yeah.
DJ replies, yeah, watching the movie that first time, I instantly went, oh man, way to further establish that you're an asshole, analyst. Not to mention the fact that he uses it to highlight the bullet he shot at Trinity and mercilessly prevents Neo from reaching. Chris adds, every time I see an apple, the first thing in my mind is CinemaSins. Mr. Seven Reality said, the sin, as always, is apples. And Rock Pasta says, can confirm. I bust out laughing and said, oh, okay, now he's officially bad. Like, we get to be the ones that officially stamp these moments in cinema. And that whole series, everyone had something new to add. And it's like just this series of fan base that, while they're watching content, are sending it along with us, and it's just really fun to have a good time doing it, to be silly little nitpickers, and I really enjoyed that thread.
That is fun. I'll keep us on the Matrix one. There is a moment where the sin is about the character skin, and then Jeremy just laughs, and there's a ding for every single ha, and then he takes a deep breath and laughs again. So this is from Maniac, who says, OMG, when I watched this, the extended laughter and sin count was interrupted by a commercial break right after the deep breath, and then he started laughing again.
Yes!
Genius.
That's amazing.
Way to go, you two.
That's incredible.
I love it when that kind of stuff happens.
Great.
Jonathan, what about you?
Yeah, mine's actually from Oversoul Gaming, so I hope they don't care. They're in their live audience today. But this was for Stranger Things, and they said a long-winded sin removal followed by a one-word sin addition is exactly the kind of juxtaposition I'm here for. So you're welcome.
You know, they are touching on something. Oversoul is touching on something that we talk about. We talk about how the flow and interesting, because there is something counterpunctual about that that's really funny. So yeah, I'm glad you're picking up on that. That's really fun.
Yeah, it's great.
Ian, what about you?
I will have probably the most profound comment of the day, and it's from the Rickshank Rickdemption. Jason Blalock says, Rick actually seems like the unlucky bird that gets obliterated by a fastball type to me.
Yes.
And it just reminded me of that. And I am sorry. I know a bird most likely died, but it is just one of those things that the universe put together. That bird woke up that morning, went on a trajectory somewhere. That sports ball player woke up
Randy
that morning, threw a ball and just destroyed it. There's no way he was aiming for it. It was just those two parts of the universe intercepted and exploded.
I want Ian to be like an announcer for
sports,
for like
totally.
a football
It would
team
be
or a
amazing.
baseball team. I would enjoy so much more listening to you.
We are moving into an era of pick your own commentators. I promise you this is going to happen very, very soon. And they just have to release some of the rights stuff that keeps it. But I would absolutely 100% listen to Ian commentate on sports. It would be the most popular.
You just have an expert talking about the facts, and then I'm just in there going, yay!
I just want to point out that people used to say the same about me.
Yes.
And now they're saying, so I've been replaced officially with Ian.
You can do the movie commentaries, and I'll do the sports ball commentaries.
Yeah.
But I think Ian would kind of enjoy himself. I think Deneé, you'd be like, why are you making me watch this?
Which is part of the fun, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'd end
Your
up
torture?
accidentally
You want us to
liking
torture
the
you
sport.
for the fun of the fans?
Isn't that normal?
Yeah.
But
Are you talking about
ESPN
my
on
life,
Monday
Aaron?
Night Football, you can go to ESPN2 and watch Peyton and Eli talk about it or whatever. So they're kind of messing
they're
around.
starting to experiment with that.
And they're
kind
doing
of
that
stuff,
with
yes.
Sunday Night Baseball too, where I think A-Rod and somebody else has their own telecast. So it's interesting.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the bird. That clip it's hard not to laugh, even though there's death
Something is
involved,
dying.
because it looks so cartoonish. Like it looks like somebody animated, like that puff of feathers that
You
happen.
don't
Like
see the bird fly in. You just see the baseball turn into a puff of feathers.
It's incredible. It looks like
So
it's out of a
great.
cartoon. It
Yeah,
really
the
does.
Sports ball hits it.
Sports ball just explodes.
Just explodes.
I'm what I'm saying from now on. What are you doing, Jonathan? I'm watching some sports ball. What are you up to?
Yes. All right, let's move into nitpicking the nitpickers of the nitpickers.
We wouldn't want to nitpick, right, Danny?
Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more.
Actually.
Oops. What do you mean, oops?
Missed it by that much.
Am I just going to nitpick everyone until they leave me?
Ian takes a look at some actuallys from the comments, and we decide together if the commenter was green, yellow, or red, or decide together. if we prefer.
Who knows?
Ian, what do you got?
There's one that's an instant green. You titled the video wrong, Aaron.
Oh no!
It is not the Rickshank Redemption. It is the Rickshank Rickdemption.
Yes, indeed it is.
So we will just apologise to everybody, fire Aaron, and I think
if that was Aaron's job,
see that.
If that was Aaron's job to name the videos, you could fire Aaron. Aaron doesn't name the videos.
There's
But
multiple people that look at that, and none of us
Has
saw
that been fixed yet?
has it been fixed?
As of right now?
This is the first I'm hearing about it. So, yes, I had no idea.
Ian, okay, so Ian, let's talk about this nitpicking, the nitpickers
yes,
thing.
let's please talk about this.
When you find errors, we can still correct. You're actually part of the front lines for us.
Right.
Let me just send a quick
team.
message over to our team and get that fixed.
Hey, to be fair,
fixing it now.
I found it in
Are you fixing it now?
This is amazing.
Okay.
This is your thing. The nitpicking section has had a good benefit. That's amazing. So, in all fairness, I prepped for this immediately before the show. Maybe I could have brought it up an hour or two ago. But, okay. You're not going to make somebody in the comments look like an absolute dick.
Now it's red.
I know. We're going to try to get it right. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, but now the person in the comments is like,
no, people know that it gets changed.
We're not worried about that
so, yes,
person.
That's agreed.
That person's going to be
It
fine.
is now changed. And thank you for letting us know, Ian, eventually.
Okay.
Something that could have been brought to my attention yesterday.
There's no way whatever I was going to do next is going to beat that, so let's move on.
Well,
you
did promise
the casserole.
Casserole stuff. So,
it is simply debate. So there's a lot of people in the comments said, this is why you bring casseroles to people. It's so that they have a bulk amount of food to eat. They don't have to worry.
Oh, yeah.
It is
makes
something
sense.
that happens. Why are we sinning it?
Well, the answer is we're not sinning that it happens. We're sinning that it is now associated primarily with negative things. So the sin actually talks about why can't we take people casseroles when they're having a good day? So that's what the sin is.
And that it's a cliche in like movies and television.
But I will say to throw another wrench in the impact, we did take casseroles to people when they were having a good day. Like we took them as a celebration of people moving in and,
I was just
and those
saying,
kind of things.
When I was talking about it earlier, I was just saying me personally, I've never been given a casserole. It was usually like something like lasagna.
Next time, get you one. Next time we're in Nashville, I'll bring you mac and cheese casserole.
I like casseroles.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure you get a pet bird. I'm going to hit it with a sports ball, and I'm going to bring you a casserole while you're mourning.
I would eat like the casseroles that like weren't like I'd eat casseroles in the cafeteria all the time. People like, you don't know what's in there. I'm like, I know, it's beautiful. It's just everything's mixed in. I don't know what
is in any of the cafeteria food.
It's like trail mix, man. Just throw it all in there.
I think that's another green. So
there we go. All right, let's move into some Neé-play.
Who puts her in charge?
I did.
There is no plan B. How did we get here?
I should embrace the chaos. That makes no sense.
I do what I want.
I regret nothing.
Welcome.
I don't know. I don't.
This is my first name.
It's your segment. If that's how you want to start it, that's how you start it.
I guess.
Please intro it.
Me? You want me to intro?
I don't want you to forget.
No. The whole point of the Neé-play is she gets to do the intro.
Oh, is that not an intro?
Like, it is her segment.
Oh,
like,
I thought Aaron did an intro.
I can.
Poor Ian right now is an editing brain just spiraling.
Like, please remember.
Yeah.
Please
Where's
remember
my
to do an intro.
transition? No, go ahead, Aaron. Go ahead.
This entire segment is turned over to the chaotic wonder that is Deneé Hughes. Deneé, take it away.
I feel such pressure. The chaotic wonder. And like this tiny little person walks in that's wearing like a really subpar superhero costume with like this worn out like ta-ta-ta-ta, I'm the chaos wonder.
I just know last time we did this, I learned about an animal that threw its young to prey to get away. So like I'm excited for whatever happens here.
We can't give too much expectation. This is the lowest bar that we can have on the show.
Lowering the bar.
Is this.
Okay,
it's got to be like
Matrix
just
5
no
levels of expectations.
Yes, we're going to do the limbo. We have lowered the bar so far.
I'm going to start with a big bummer. Because then there's just hopefully just up from there.
Oh, okay.
The big bummer is I was like, oh my God, I have the best idea ever. I have a sin that's not making it into a video and I can show that here and talk about it.
Uh-huh.
And then I realized not only is that not come out yet, we can't talk about it, but I already almost spoiled it in the outtakes already.
Yes.
So I'm just like chomping at the bit, I guess, to talk about the beep situation.
Champing.
Yeah. So
Thank you, Ian.
Champing at the bit.
I'm champing at it.
We're
I'm
alternating between.
It's champing.
It's champing.
It's champing at the bit?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about bestiality. How is it spelled, Aaron?
It's spelled B-E-S-T, like it should be best.
B-E-S, not B-E-A-S.
It is odd how much that comes up in life. That was a conversation we had in person with someone just yesterday. My archaeologist
Do you
friend.
have a personal archaeologist?
There are way too many people talking about bestiality. Or bestiality, sorry.
It was crazy. She brought it up and said bestiality. Both Ian and I are like, bestiality.
Actually.
Wait, you have a friend that's an archaeologist?
I do.
That's
yeah,
funny.
she's like
that's cool.
in my really close friend circle. She's an archaeologist, and she's actually goes to sites to preserve our culture. And right now she's going to Iowa a lot because they're doing a pipeline. And so they have to document everything. I get to learn the coolest stuff from her. She's like, some days she'll come back from the field and she'll be like sweaty and stuff and just drained. And she's got to do all the reports and tell the governments at different levels what has been found because it's important to different types of people, and in Missouri and in this kind of area in the Midwest, there's, obviously a lot of Native American things to consider. It's a lot. And she'll go, Deneé, tell me you have a job for me today. And I'm like, I unfortunately do not have any room on the team for an archaeologist. Like, how cool would it be if we could just hire experts all in these random fields? Like run Indiana Jones through Jen, she'd kill it. And we actually experienced something similar to this when we were at Sin Week because we had two people that were like medically trained who watched ambulance with us. And that was a delight because they had a list of like 60 things that were immediately wrong with ambulance before we got started. It was incredible. I loved it.
Pages of notes. It was so good.
The problem is if we start actually being experts on things, then it'll be too much pressure.
It's too much pressure.
Yeah.
You're right. Our lack of understanding and our silly Google searches will sustain us for a long time.
Right. Stay ignorant, people.
I was bummed because I have I literally loaded it into this website. I was ready to click the button, super randomly go, look at what I've got for you, and I can't do that. So I will have to save it for when it becomes relevant later. So in between now and then, podcast listeners, if you haven't thought about joining us on Sin Club, there's some fun shit going on, and you get to see those kinds of things early, and you get to see the actual video. So then my backup plan was just to go stream of consciousness again. So we'll just jump into that, I guess. Listen, I have banged my knee at this fucking desk for far too long. And I thought if I had the resources to solve my little problems within my immediate vicinity without concern for money spent, what would I buy from the time the show starts to the time the show ends? So while the show has been going on, I have been accumulating tabs of things that I would purchase from the internet and hit buy if there was no concern about that.
Oh, okay. I like this.
I discovered I'm kind of boring.
So wait. So you asked yourself the mental question: if resources were not a problem, what would I just click and buy right now
to solve my immediate?
To solve your immediate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, by the end of it, I had also purchased a pony and some land, so I didn't stay here long. Like eventually it's like, you know what, if I'm able to spend whatever money I want, I guess I would just go ahead and add land and a horse of some kind. And then I forgot the original seed of the idea, so I broke my own
stuff you
rules.
can find on Amazon.
It just doesn't seem like a stable plan.
Oh, quit horsing around, Ian.
Yeah. And then I thought about tallying everything up and realizing how much money that could affect something more positive than my banged up knees, because I have pieced together 2 desks. So there's like this little inexpensive L-shaped desk I got off of like Wayfair.com or Overstock.com. You can't really put a lot of weight on it because it's MDF board. So people will come over to my house and they'll come in here and they'll like do the lean on the desk thing. And I fear for its safety. And I'm like, you cannot lean on that. It will completely collapse. So I have butted that up against my old kitchen table, which I bang my knees on. So there's no actual way for me to, even though I'm at a corner desk, technically this is a corner desk.
You're at a kitchen table right now? It's a table?
It's just a table, man.
That's awesome.
That's what we're at too, actually. Yeah. This is a kitchen table that we have our stuff on too.
So gotcha.
See, there's the seam right there.
Yeah, gotcha.
Podcast audience, Deneé is describing the seam.
My least favorite part. Oh, here's my printer. Is this fucking
we're under Deneé's desk now.
Right here. This motherfucker
that
here
would suck.
Yeah.
hurts
I would hit
because I
this
go
would
right
be a
into
great
it.
time to promote the Sin Club. You can see underneath Deneé's desk.
But can we talk about this little bitch? Look at this. So my leg can kind of go here, but this is the knee banger.
We're looking at
here
a nubbin.
and here. And look at the cords, everybody.
Surprisingly,
like, it's not super bad.
Surprisingly, Deneé has taped shards of glass to the underneath of her desk.
What is that?
It's her Rambo training.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
Very,
so
very
now we gotta.
There's a piece of paper down there.
I don't even know how we're gonna get back.
If you
Look,
bang your knee as you put the camera back on, that'll be beautiful.
I will apologize.
I don't want.
Recursion.
The whole thing is I don't want it to continue this madness. I want an L-shaped desk. I would like to have. So then I went on to this website where it's like solid build desks because I also need to be able to stand on my furniture. It's a long story. I'm short. I guess it's not that long.
It's a compulsion you have.
Yeah, it's just like, I have to stand on my furniture.
I occasionally just need to stand on my furniture.
Very short.
Yeah. So the desk that I found, again, quick searches. Somebody keep tabs of the money I'm spending.
Okay.
About $3,700 for a solid L-shaped desk that I can. This is what I'm saying. This is fast searches. This is quick decisions.
Okay.
This is, I think that DutchCrafters.com was that one. They seem pretty legit. I'm going to show again, you guys, again, this is probably a segment you would enjoy visually.
You're going to have stuff start showing up at your home from fans who are like, oh, she told us the website.
Check this out. It's kind of nice. It's got some drawers that are adjustable.
Gorgeous.
It's got like this nice little scoochy pencil thing doodle whopper. There's
so
some
Deneé just used the word
wonky.
Scoochie
Look at this.
doodle
Look at this drawer.
thingamawopper for a drawer.
I want this drawer. This looks like a good drawer. Oh, also this little extended section where you can set your laptop. I love it. So
Or
this
mouse.
is the expensive desk
that was for your mouse.
Yeah.
No. Listen, it's for whatever the fuck I want.
That's true.
I buy it.
Sure does.
I just spent $4,000 on it. I'm doing what I want.
That's right. All right, we're 3,700.
Another problem I had is that I showered a little bit too close to going live. So with my wet hair, I put on my headphones, which means for the rest of the day I have the headphone indentations in my hair. So I also would buy a hair dryer that would be very fast and work well. This is the Dyson hair dryer that I have been obsessing over. It is $500 hair dryer. All right, moving on. I would like to have one, like easy thing I can reach out and start working, and I'm very tactile. I think I want to go touch screen because when I'm on the show, I'm doing like 6 things at once, and I like touch. I'm creating things, and so I just looked up a curved monitor, ultra wide touch screen,
nice,
about $1,500.
All right, got that.
Nice.
This is pretty cool. Now, I also am annoyed by the fan over my shoulder. This is Deneé complaining section. Yeah, maybe a little bit. This fan, the jarring light. I don't enjoy the jarring light here. It makes my eyes kind of funky as the day goes on. I thought, if I'm going to fix something, I guess I would also do that. The problem is that the fans that I like don't really have lighting on them. They're kind of more close to the ceiling, and it's just like a little modern thing. So I need to replace the lighting on the walls. So I went with like a $400 fan, but I need to get some cool lighting. And there's this really cool lighting where it just sticks to your wall essentially, and you can change the colors on it and such, which would make this. I think that'd be pretty freaking cool.
Are you talking
so
about like? Are you talking about like my daughter has like
$500.
My daughter has these lights that like hang on her wall, and she can change the color and stuff. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I can't think of what those are called. LCD lights, right?
LED, I think.
LED.
But,
That's what I meant.
LEC.
The hell?
LSD. We want the whole.
How much is the LSD? I haven't added that to my list. How much was the LSD?
My daughter has LSD as well. So.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. Well, that's good.
I'm a good dad.
This is when. At the end of my rope, I was feeling kind of bad, and that's when I thought, okay, I'll do a pony and I'll buy land. So we can't include that because that just went too far. I went off the rails. So where am I at budget wise?
6,600. You're at 6,600 so far.
Okay.
So just add like 6 more. It can be 60. So that'd be 4 6s.
My brain then goes to, well, I can use that money for more important things, and I'll just keep bashing my knees. So the segment in my mind closes down, and then I started to close all of my tabs. And I was reminded about the cool bismuth. So I switched over to a whole bunch of science experiments.
Cool.
And cool shit. And I found a video that I'm going to link to, maybe in the description. I can just link to it. You guys can watch it on your own. But it was like the best of ChemTalk experiments. And they did this really interesting experiment where they used chemistry to solve mazes. And so I was watching little videos in the background and then learning how to grow bismuth crystals in your backyard.
Ooh. You could turn it into your own small bismuth.
That's what I did.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Small business.
Listen,
owner.
when you use the same pun twice, you might as well.
You guys are good.
You might as well. Yeah, $6,600. That's not too bad. Depending on how much it costs to get the bismuth growing underway. We'll see.
It was good.
Honestly, that a
I don't know if you learned
career
anything.
in growing bismuth crystals would rock.
Yeah.
Like it would stone cold amazing. All right, that is going to do it for Behind the Sins this week. Don't forget to make sure you're subscribed and go ahead and leave a comment or rating as well. If you've got anything you want to send to us, like a $3,000 desk, mail it to P.O. Box 881 Republic, Missouri 65738. Hang out with us
the post office greatly.
Right, yeah. It's not going to fit in that P.O. Box, I guarantee it. Hang out with us on Twitter. We're at Aaron Dicer, at Witsend, at Deneé Says.
DENEESAYS.
And at Sam Loomis 13. So for Jonathan Watkins, Ian Whittington, none of your bismuth, and myself, we will see you next week.
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Thanks for listening. Send any feedback to bts@cinemasins.com and be sure to subscribe, rate, and comment. Find more ways to connect by visiting cinemasins.com/BTS.
My voice is nasally enough without having a stuffy nose.
I never hear that. I never get that from you, that you've got a nasally voice.
It's the thing I hated about my voice the most before I had a communications prof who was like, your voice is yours. Your personality is yours. They go together. Don't fight how your voice works with your personality. Just, be you.
Yeah, it's the words that come out of your mouth that are annoying, not the voice.
Right. Does England have an accepted host newscast accent?
Oh, 100%. So it's, what's it called? It's RP, which I think is received pronunciation. I'm going to really quickly Google that and make sure it's
Do you even know what I mean by local news, Ian? Because I know Aaron doesn't have cable or anything, so you guys probably don't watch local news.
Yeah, so we have regional news. So
okay,
it will vary. So you'll have we've got the three main TV channels that do like the news and whatnot, and then you'll have cutaways to regional things, and it will get more specific. So it'll be like one for the southeast, one for the north, one for the Midlands, and one for Scotland, one for Wales, etc. And then they'll deal with the local issues and then the local sports teams and stuff. So they'll have their own anchors, but it's nowhere near on the same scale as here because we're not covering the same amount of land, obviously. But yeah, there is for the longest time. It's called received pronunciation, and it is the very typical British newscaster, and it was that tone that you hear on BBC News and in other news today. There appears to be this thing that happens over here, and we were all very happy about it. And it's really, really super duper posh. It's only in the last 20 years that regional accents have been allowed on TV. Like, if you sounded like you were from Newcastle and Leeds, you weren't really allowed on the telly. But now it's quirky and, oh, cool, look at this. We're being inclusive by having somebody 100 miles down the road be the voice of the channel.
It's very John Cleese, Monty Python
100%,
delivery.
Absolutely. It is, yeah.
Have you seen Ghost Watch, Ian?
I have not.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do not.
Okay. It was like in the 80s. They apparently aired this in England, and it was they aired it as a BBC special. It's kind of like Orson Welles doing War of the Worlds.
Oh,
and it was about they had these newscasters supposedly at a haunted house, and then all this crazy shit went down. They aired it like it was real.
Oh, awesome. That's fun.
And obviously it was. I've seen it in the last few years because it was been on Shudder. But I think that guy, the reason I thought about that, because I think the people that were doing the newscasting part of it were actually at the time very famous.
Oh, I would be able to tell you. I would recognize them. Yeah.
You should look into that. It's really interesting because they were kind of trying. It's like a Blair Witch Project kind of thing too, I guess, where you don't really know if it's real or not, but it wasn't, obviously.
They did something very similar to that a couple of years ago. There's a program called Inside Number 9, which is like an anthology series.
I love Inside Number 9. We have it on Hulu over here.
So good. It's so high recommend. And they did a live show where it was like, hey, we're just going to try and do this live and see what happens. And then the studio is haunted, and they tried to sell it as this was all actually happening.
You'd like
and
Inside Number 9, Aaron.
30 seconds. You would love Inside Number 9 because
so
that deals
funny
with every episode has a theme and it deals with it in a really twisted manner. It's great.
Yeah, it's like it's very dark comedy and
very, very dark. But yeah, that regional thing it's a typical. Let's not say typical, but it's that irritating seclusionist thing of, well, people won't understand you because you're from a different place. Right. It's like, no, sure. I still speak the same language. Like, they'll be able to understand me. It doesn't have to be like you sound like you're from London.
And news from Scotland today.
Are you doing an accent?
No, that's just my normal voice.
No, this is just my breakfast voice. I have a breakfast accent. I have a lunch accent. That's actually my life. I have accents all day long. I do voices and silly stuff all day long. It takes a real deep, wonderful person to just ride with me on a day because it doesn't stop. It's nonstop. It's a lot. Jonathan, let me tell you a story real quick, just to derail this conversation that was really interesting about accents. When we got, do you know that I do the voices and then do the role play on Wild RP because we talked about it on the show, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so Daniel had no idea what any of that meant, and through when we were hanging out together, the quote that comes up a lot amongst Ian and Aaron is they'll mimic my Babs voice saying hammer. Mm-hmm. What you do it too. Hammer. It's my and then I even had Jeremy do it. Hello. And so Jeremy did it in the script, spoiler alert, and I bleep that, future Ian.
I'll bleep that.
And so
just bleep it so it sounds like penis script.
That's amazing. The beeps script. Yeah.
That's amazing. I think like maybe one of the guys, when Aaron or Ian had done the hammer thing, and Daniel maybe finally asked about it, and we just started talking about Babs, and the idea was to go into the house, sit down, and just show him this clip without any context. So I spent a few minutes and kind of brought him up to speed, and then he watches this clip of my character taking a hammer out of her belt and then just turning and smacking a dog in the head with it. Now, accidentally, but the whole thing.
This was within a game.
It's like in my little.
Okay. Yeah, I knew it was real life. I knew that. I just didn't know if it was like a. I don't know. Go ahead.
Twix and Reese's are fine.
So let's just say that his reaction to this clip was really fun. And after he stopped laughing and understood the context of what was happening or whatever, he was like, I'm really glad that you chose to show this to me at the end of the trip where I got to know you a little bit better. Because it would have been so different showing him that strange clip at the very beginning.
That's all.
It was so great because Daniel's such like a reserved,
it's great to see him laugh.
Thoughtful man. He just fell down laughing when he saw this clip. It's so great. And he was just like, I have to reassess how I view the universe because of this clip.
There was this anthology series in the 80s. Aaron might remember it, but I don't know if Deneé or Ian will. It's called Tales from the Dark Side. And there was this episode there where this person, it was kind of like Twilight Zone or something, Ian. It's just a little, or like Inside 9, just take out any of the comedy. But there was this person could like hear plants, like they found some wavelength where they could actually hear plants, and then like there's this part where somebody's like axing a tree down and the tree starts screaming, and it is like what I mean, I was like 9 or 10 or something. It was like so terrifying.
Holy shit, that would fuck me up.
That has affected me to this day where I'm like, I don't even like pick flowers. I'm just like, I'm leaving this stuff alone.
It reminds me of Jenny Slate's Snail with the Tennis Shoes On, or whatever that's called.
The movie that's coming out.
Yeah, they're making a movie out of that sketch.
Is it not Mavis?
But yeah,
it's a shell with
shoes on or something. Yeah,
she did this like on SNL.
Deneé, I wonder what you would think about that.
Yeah, it's an SNL sketch that's been turned into a movie.
Yeah.
Deneé, I think you would
are
really,
we turning
really
SNL
enjoy
sketches
this. At least this trailer.
Again?
Marcel the Shell with shoes on. Yeah,
Marcel the Shell. It looks like something you would create, Deneé, for sure.
I don't know what I would create, but I know that I would want to have a lot of money.
Well, good job,
because I think animation would be amazing, and animation's expensive.
Man, somebody's talking about seeing Sonic 2. I'm behind on movies. I'm actually Saturday. I'm doing the Northman Massive Weight double feature.
Oh yeah, you're doing the same one. Nice.
I haven't seen either one of them, so I'm going with my friend Dave. We're gonna go check them out. And,
I hope you love them both.
Yeah, I think you'll have a good time.
Eggers is. I don't know that I'm on his wavelength, but we'll see.
Either.
I didn't care for Lighthouse. I like Witch. I've seen it twice. I liked it better the second time, but I still don't know how much I like it. I really like. God, I'm just not gonna know actors. I like what's her name in it. in The Witch, who became like a big star after that.
A big enough star that we can't remember her name. I think you're gonna love The Northman.
I really do. You're gonna like it.
Yeah.
And then Massive Weight, the only stuff I've heard about it is that it is fun, but kind of like what Chris said, it's fun, but maybe not as fun as you expect it to be. But I don't have I don't have high expectations.
Lukewarm on
yeah,
that
it's weird. It's weird. It doesn't seem to go quite far enough. But
I mean, I like Nick Cage enough to where I can't imagine it's not going to be at least enjoyable. But
yeah,
you'll
enjoy it. Yeah, you'll enjoy it.
Oh, and I've still got to see Everything Everywhere at Once or whatever, and that is still out here. So hopefully, I'm going to go see that on Sunday.
Everything Wrong with Everything Everywhere, all at once in 23 minutes or less.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Everything wrong with everything everywhere all at once.
I'm sure that'll
in
happen
23 minutes
in a time limit.
That's
so
wild.
Great.
That's wild.
I'm sure it'll happen. I think it's kind of a hit, right? I mean, it's at least on people's radar, so I don't know why we wouldn't send it at some
Dibs
point.
not sending that. I mean, that is literally the words that Chris said to me as we left the theatre. He's like, "Well, Ian, you're on this one."
That's hilarious. I haven't done have all of you sent a musical since we stopped using music?
I am often on the musicals. Yeah.
I think I did. Oh, yeah, I did Phantom of the Opera.
Wow. I know I'm going to get one eventually, but like, you know. If
In
we
the
ever
Heights was the hardest for me in that regard, just because so much of what we were singing was in the lyrics of In the Heights.
Yeah, you end up doing sins like, the lyric says this, da 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 da, and it kind of feels to me like it lacks a little bit of personality as the sins go on.
You just really wish you could play the lead-ins.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. I had Rocky Horror and
I did that one too.
And Rocky Horror that's actually one of the easier videos I've written because it's so wackadoodle, but you just want to include the songs.
Did you see the guy from Draft Day though tweeted?
What?
Yes. Yeah, I have it in my notes in case you don't talk about it.
I honestly don't know what his feeling about it was, but I just thought it was funny that he tweeted it.
I always assume if they don't explicitly say I hate CinemaSins that they like it, but just they're undercover.
I didn't read a lot
it.
of comments because I knew there'd probably be a bunch of crap in there, but I did. I saw his part of the reply in the thread there where he showed a couple other things.
Yeah,
I was like, I think they like my performance.
Yeah. And then every once in a while, you'll get a Jamie Lee Curtis being like, I love CinemaSins. And you're just like, it's all worth it. It's all worth it. Love you, JLC.
So we're going to start this off. Deneé and Ian and Aaron all watched the Wicker Man video after.
Yes.
And they're going to discuss their
in our new segment called Oh Shit, We Forgot.
Sin. In our new segment called BSing Jonathan.
Yes. BTSing Jonathan.
BTSing. Yes, exactly. Lowercase t. BTS.
Yes.
I like it. There should be a segment. I don't know what it is, but there should be a BTSing segment.
Yeah, I'll have to work on that.
You'll never know you're in the segment until after the fact, though. You have to reveal afterwards it was all bullshit.
No. It should be like Boulder Dash, right? Like we all talk about a Sins video, but one of us hasn't watched it, and you have to pick the person who actually hasn't watched the video.
Boulder Dash, by the way.
I thought he said Boulder Dash.
Boulder Dash.
It is Boulder.
Which is a totally different thing.
It's Boulder Dash.
It's Boulder Dash.
I missed the good idea. I'll have to listen to it when I listen to the podcast.
Oh, she's already participating in BTSing.
She's there.
Can I show you guys something cool? Can I show you guys a board cube? What?
Yes.
Look at it.
Oh, how cool is that?
Board cube buried in a rock.
I literally have it's just so difficult for me to believe that's a natural occurrence. It's so weird.
Crazy.
It's like nature. How does it work?
Oh, that's something you found?
Yeah,
like
this is
that's an actual rock you found?
It's an actual rock somebody found. Yeah.
Look cool.
I mean, they probably polished up the square part,
Nope.
I'm guessing. Or
It's
does
that
it
shiny.
It comes out of the ground.
You can actually grow this stuff too. Well, no, that's bismuth. Yeah.
You can grow a board
It's
cube?
really
It's
scary.
none of my bismuth.
Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Oh no. I know that was a very visual thing. That is pyrite. That is the mineral pyrite.
I've heard of that.
Arg.
Yes. Yep.
I got you, Ian.
Good.
I heard you.
Guess what? I fixed my microphone with
You did the rubber bands again.
because it worked so well last time, right?
Yep.
Now they're gonna break, but I have backups ready to go.
Nice.
That'd be amazing. She just like snaps when the whole thing just goes crashing.
Aaron has live while we were on our radio show live. He caught his microphone, it fell out of the arm. It just like had come unspooled, I guess, and the entire like that whole entire section that he's showing just fell. And he was talking into it, and it went down with it and caught in his hands and kept going live on radio. It was so rad.
That's amazing.
I was like,
that's what you have to do.
And you can't react to it because nobody. If you react to it, you then have to invite the audience into the experience, and then
you have a choice. Yeah, you have a choice. You can either continue going where you were going, or you can break and make that the thing. But I think we liked where we were going enough that I wanted to continue with it.
And now back to the song, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, what just happened? It was like ninja season. He would also throw things at me, and I would just do this, and I would just catch it. It's crazy.
Do you need to get some coughs out?
Do it. Do it.
Get it out.
Are you taking a Zyrtec today? Because I helped you yesterday.
No, I took so many things yesterday. We have no idea which one actually helped.
Allergic.
I took 4 different meds.
Eddie, you sound like you got really bad allergies.
It could be allergies.
Spring is blowing up in Missouri.
As
You're not used to our flora and fauna. So I think we'll see.
Could be killing me. Hype, hype, hype. Hype self. Go, go, go. Live from a bunker.
In the heart of the Ozarks.
Yeah.
Hey, yo.
We're each going to pick a...
Good. You are the ones who are the ball lickers.